Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. Welcome back to part 6 of Rat House Radio Restoration. I want to welcome you if you just joined us. Highly suggest you go back, watch all the parts, the 5 other parts to this restoration, and which is explain step by step what we actually did to try to bring this radio back to life. And coming up going to be part 6 of this restoration. We're going to disassemble the speaker. As you know, it's pretty rusty. We're going to derust it, and also we're going to paint the frame. We're going to repair the speaker transformer, at least make it look better. And we're going to build a speaker voice coil. Then we're going to build a speaker spider. We're going to build a speaker cone, and also build a speaker cone ring. I call it the ring that it goes outside the speaker. And then we're going to reassemble the speaker and transformer, put them together, then install the speaker to the chassis, to the radio chassis, and then we test to see if it's going to work or not. Folks, I'm trying my best to make these videos as short as possible, but believe me, it takes forever to restore this. There are many hours of restoration recording that I have to edit it. My apology for some of this video is too long. Again, I appreciate you watching all this video, and I hope you enjoy all this. Alright, this is the speaker transformer. I'm going to try to open it up and try to get rid of the rust, and as you can tell, it's very bad condition. That rats chewed everything out. This is the primary, it has reading, and this is the secondary. All right, this one has reading as well. So I'm going to try to take it apart and fix this one too. I'd like to keep it as original as possible with all the parts. Couple of clip here. Everything, as you can tell, is rust out, but it's amazing that it still is working. Okay. Okay, is out, as you can see. And this is the part I'm going to get rid of the rust and paint it. And this side I'm just going to clean it, because I don't want to mess around with this as much. See how it's layers of metals? There's tons of them. All right. And that's the product I'm going to use. Okay, I'm going to let it set. I think the direction said between 15 minutes. I'm going to leave it a little longer because it rusts pretty bad. Maybe I need to do it a couple of times to get rid of the rust. This is speaker coil. I mass tape this, so to get out, I spray it black, and after treated with this, so just the middle part, of course, painted. Also this one, I did a wire brush, take it outside, wire brushed, and again I add this to it, let it sit for half an hour, washed it very well, then I spray painted too. Just say spray painted to make sure it doesn't rust again. And so we're going to put this together, and then still I have to fix the other thing in this as well. So let's remove the tape. Really gentle. You don't want to break the wires, of course. Again, I have to cover all this with some type of paper. Let me move this so you can see better. Trying to be very gentle not to damage anything. Again, the purpose of restoring this radio is a condition really. Majority of people, they just junk it and or use some of the parts. As you notice, this radio is in very bad condition. So my goal really is to see if this can be actually repaired with all original parts if it's possible. And the only thing currently is replaced was a volume control, which I'm going to try to restore that one too. The reason I used another one, just want to first make sure the radio is working. And the speaker itself still is in pretty bad condition, but this is speaker coil. As you noticed earlier, before painting, it was working very well. So now, as you see, the rat ate this portion. Also, some paper is missing the back. So I'm going to try to somehow get a piece of paper, put over it, and use my favorite glue that you saw using the speakers to fill up those as well, to make it look much better. All the wires are here for connection, which is a good thing. All right. So of course this goes right here. Now I forgot what direction was going in. I assume this is how it goes in. Yeah, because this is too wide. Yeah, that should be this way. This makes more sense. Yeah, definitely this is the way. Okay, install it inside, closing those two. All right. Okay, look much better. So let me try to figure out what we're going to do here. Let me work on this. Got a piece of cardboard, marked it, and what I'm trying to do, bend this side, also bend other side, like that. Just being too detailed, right? Just want to look good, that's all. You don't need to do all this. I'm doing it because I just want to look good. I know nobody want to see under the chassis, but I'm the one seeing it, right? Okay, this is comes up to here, something like that. All right, put that cardboard. The purpose I did this is, just to protect the wire. And, so then, of course, as you saw, I use this glue and pretty light coat I put over everywhere. And so everything is protected. And just to make it look good, I use this pen just to mark those papers, so it be as close to original as possible. Anyway, it's looking very good. We're going to now do the test to see if everything is working well or not. Now remember, if you use the glue we discussed, this glue, you have to let it dry totally, at least 24 hours or maybe longer before you hook it up to the radio, because you want to make sure it's totally dry inside and out. I'm going to do again primary test. And that's the primary is working. Secondary, that is good. that can be installed back in the radio. And again, I'd like to keep as original as possible everything I've been storing. And it's more fun, if you can just save it, bring it back to life. So again, that's what I did to mark like this. All right. That's it. We're going to put it aside. And next, what I'm going to try to do, restore this speaker. I already took the parts out. And so I'm going to try to wire brush some area. I don't want to damage this part here. And after wire brushing, I'm going to use this product again to get rid of the rust. Can this be fixed? I don't know, but if I can find a coin for it, and then we're going to be in good shape. So hopefully I can find something, but that's what's the next we're going to work on. This already taken apart, as you saw when I took it apart. All right. So I'm going to take it outside, wire brush it, but let's see how this works out. Maybe clean some of this paper. I wish I could save it, but his side was pretty bad. So maybe I can make something like that down the road if the speaker can be fixed. Take this outside. I wire brushed as well as I could. Take heavy rust out. These are some of the surface rust. So I'm going to treat the metal with this product again. And then after this, I'm going to mask some area and paint this as well. This is like a tin foil here. The reason I did this, so I don't want, if I put a cardboard underneath, it's going to absorb in the cardboard. This way it does not. The area that is, rusted pretty bad, I'm going to put a thick layer. And possibly maybe I have to do this 2 times. We're going to find out after this dry, rinse it off with water. And then you can tell if you need to do it again or not. After you apply this, make sure to wash your brush with water. So I'm putting a little heavier coat area that rusted pretty bad. Just put it everywhere. Because after I wire brushed it, I washed it with soap and water to get rid of all the oils. As you remember, I had to spray it with a chemical to loosen up the bolt inside here because it was rusted. So I mentioned I do this as a hobby. I just enjoy restoring stuff. Really, I have other speakers I can use this radio, but as I mentioned earlier, just want to use as many original parts as possible in this radio. Always is, can I do this? Can I really fix this part? Can I fix that part? It's a challenge. And replacing, is pretty simple, but it's not, to me, it's not as much fun as fixing original part if it's possible. Meanwhile, we are waiting that rust remover to work on the speaker frame. I thought to make some type of cone. This is first version I made, and it fit very well. So I'm going to use that concept, to make it with this type of paper. They're thicker, as the color is like a original speaker. So the way I made this, of course, I measured everything. I want to show you what actually I did to create this. The first version, this is a prototype. It's a prototype. So the first version, I put a line, find the center of paper, then I use this, to make the mark on this. This one, I don't need to really measure the center. of the paper. I know that's the size I need. So I'm going to go a little extra right here. Okay. Also, what I did last night, cut a piece of paper, piece of a paper, and wrapped it around this. That is where the hold the speaker and the magnet is underneath. Wrapped it for easy to move back and forth. Very loose a little bit. So then, of course, I use this glue it to make it stronger, so it doesn't bend that easy. And it fit perfect here, and also it fits through the speaker as well. That's the first. Then this goes inside this hole like this. Okay. So I'm going to try to create the same concept in this paper. So we know the hole is right there, the center. We're going to measure this as well. That's the center. It says right here. I put this right on top of it. Yeah, that's the size. All right. Let's see if this darn thing going to work. I'm sure it's going to work, but we will find out, right? Okay. But I'm not going to glue it until, test it on a speaker right now. I put those chemical rust remover, and that's where the hole goes as well, right in the center. All right, the speaker was painted yesterday, almost in the evening. Left it overnight to dry, and so that's it. That's that rusty speaker. I'm going to remove this masking tape. All right. So I did measure the distance from the center to corner. I'm cutting another piece, as you see. Of course, measured everything. So I'm going to put this aside. See, I already cut this piece from the center out. Now I'm cutting this. Okay, this is the piece. This goes here. As you see, it's a little larger. Already marked it. It's going to bend like that. See the other line here, if you can see it or not. Okay, this is the idea. This goes in here. All right, folks, planning to make the voice coil. These are the material I'm using. What I did, I cut about 4 pieces, really small pieces out. I want to show you what I'm going to do with that. There got some masking tape. I cut a few pieces here as well. This is the wire that I use for oscillator coil. I'm going to use for the voice coil. Hopefully going to work. And this is, I find, all this I have through the years. This is when they were doing AC. This is like a aluminum foil tape. That what I did, I cut some about 2 centimeters, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm trying to use whatever we have around the house. So I'm going to use this one. So the plan is to, maybe first I'm going to tape this here. The reason I have this, so when you want to remove it out of this piece of plastic, it'll be easier to remove it. So I'm going to tape all this first. Later on, when you finish with the voice coil, then you can just pull this out like that. Your coil comes out. So we put this around it here. So it goes over like that. All right. I'm going to mark where they need to be cut. Should be just perfect like that. They touch each other like that. You don't want to overlap. You want just to touch it perfect. I'm going to remove. The thing I like about this tape that I share with you, one side is aluminum, other side is actually has glue, which is going to help to wrap the wire, this wire that I share with you, this, and so it's going to wrap pretty well. All right, let's see how it has. The tape, I already measured, I know how far I need to go. It's right here. Make it the wire. Wire like this. Give extra wire out like that. Okay. It's very time consuming. It should be side, be exact. Okay. Now, the beginning of the coil, my understanding is a plus, the other side is a negative. Of course, I can find that later. Here, I'm securing those two wires, the beginning and the end, to the frame of this plastic with a couple of tapes. So I'm going to also add in some glue to that extra paper, not where the coil is, of course, is above. And then I cut a piece of paper to put over this. The thickness of the paper and the coil should be leveled. It should not be thicker. It should be leveled. The reason you're doing this, you want to protect these two wires so it doesn't hit the side of the speaker. Quickly, I'm going to test to see if this new coil fit the speaker or not. I hope it fit. It should, because I did all the measurement. Yeah, it's, as you see how it's moving, this is good. That's the way it's supposed to be, you know, loose and be able to move back and forth. Also, it fit the speaker. Excellent. That is very good. As you saw, the spider was finished. I installed the coil inside the spider. Of course, use the glue there. I'm going to install it now inside the speaker. And it fit perfect. So that is good, because this fits just the way it's supposed to. What I'm doing at this time, I'm installing shim, so it keep the coil away from the magnet area, that little piece in the center. So I'm adding some shims around it. Before gluing this, you want to make sure they don't touch, you know, the center. Usually I put around 4 of them, but sometimes 3 will do. Alright, it seems like it fit very well. Right, no, it's not gluing, you know, the spider to the speaker after, you know, the shims is still there. That's why I put the shim there. The shim is not going to come out until the cone be installed as well. When everything installed, then you remove those shims. Alright, let's spend some time and create this speaker cone. Let's say I'm putting some glue here to glue the cone together. Just was testing to see if it fit or not. Are you gluing the voice coil to the cone? I'm gonna wait until it get dry. Let's cut the extra piece out and make sure it fit. Let's glue glue it down. Make sure it's secured after gluing it. Now I'm getting a resistor, putting a hole inside the speaker cone so I can run those two wires through the paper and solder it to the post. So I'm making two small holes, really, one for each wire, and then I have to feed those wires through each hole. So each of them going to be soldered to those posts in the back, and then you have to solder, of course, each of them. Make sure they're secure, of course. After that, gluing the wires to the speaker cone to make them secured. I found this. I hold on from one of the oldest speaker. I'm gonna try to make a couple of this, then glue them together. Back of this legal pad. Just happened they put two of them, so it's pretty thick. Again, if I put two layers of this, should work out. So I'm glad I hold on to this. It's exactly 5" too. I assume this was a different radio I was working on. I already started. As you see, the light is on. So let's test the speaker to see if this speaker is actually working or not. So let's crank it. We can listen to this together. If it works, if it doesn't, I'm going to use the replacement speaker that I had from usually when I find the stuff, old equipment, I take the speakers out because you never know if you need it or not. So let's try it. Hopefully it will work. Holy moly. I can't believe it. It's working so loud. And this is not all the way. Oh, look here. I'm excited. It's working. Is it? That is amazing. It's working. You don't believe what I had to go to do this thing. It's just crazy. Uh, so now, man, I'm excited. This thing is working. Don't worry about all this wires goes everywhere. You know, it's still some of them are hooked up to the antenna. Some to, you remember, we also fixed this original speaker transformer. So some of them hooked up to that, and then of course run to the speaker. So I'm happy, to be honest with you, to pick any station with this type of condition. This radio was, as you remember, it was just awful. Majority of people, they get rid of that, or they don't even try to restore it, because first, it takes a lot of time. Second, if the part is bad, it's very hard to find the correct part, like this one. You know, yes, I went to Antique Radio Forum, and they mentioned to buy another coil, which I bought this. Okay, this is what I bought. It came in just a couple of days ago. Is a replacement part like this. This is universal, part that I could use, but I'm trying to restore what the radio had. Even I bought this, I tried it. It didn't work that great. It picked up a couple of stations. So I'm going to do my best to restore everything in this radio. And to just, that's how I'm learning. I'm learning a lot by working in this. And so that's why I didn't use the other speaker, which was working very well. I say, you know what? Why not try? What you have to lose? Really nothing. What you have to gain is, learning about how to fix things that is totally dead or was totally rust out. This is speaker now, as you see, it sounds very good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this off. I don't want to get electrocuted. Again, you do not touch anything, right? Turn it off. Turn off from the main power. Okay, what I need to do next with this speaker now we know is working. I'm pretty excited about this. So I usually keep this type of stuff around. This is like to keep the dust out. I already cut a small piece. I'm going to glue it right here. Then also what I need to do, right, this portion, you see there's an opening. You don't want the dust get to that area. So I already cut a piece of paper, same as the speaker. I'm going to wrap it inside, glue it a little bit, make something like this, to cover the dust doesn't get to it. You want to get the dust away from that shaft because the speaker goes back and forth. So I'm very excited about working this. The next thing I'm going to do to this speaker, as you know, this cardboard, I cut a couple of them out. Already cut the majority of them to look like original, glue two pieces together. There's a couple of more cut I need to do here. Let me turn on the light here for you can see better. It's a backlight. I had to turn off that fluorescent light. When the fluorescent light is on, the radio, it doesn't pick up pretty well. So glue it together. I'm just going to finish cutting it, and this will be glued back here like that. So those are a couple of other things I have to do. Then trying to figure out how to hook up that transformer here. It was riveted here, but I don't have enough space back here to rivet it. So I need to find, and I didn't want to put the rivet in, then finish the cone, because if the speaker didn't work for one reason or another, my plan was to use that speaker transformer for hook it up to the other, speaker. But since this is working, I need to find a different way to hook it up. I'm very excited about this. I can't believe that actually this thing is working. That is awesome. It's an AM radio. The way I fixed this speaker, is this is not a high fidelity, so with high fidelity type of things, you cannot do what I did. You have to order a cone, a speaker, voice coil, everything correctly to get a good sound. But this is an AM radio. You just have here in Florida, I pick up just a couple of stations. So those stations, they don't even play music. They're all yelling at each other. There's a sport, and this type of thing. But again, AM radio, so it's not even FM. Anyway, let me work on those things and try to finish this speaker. Anyway, I hope you enjoy watching all these videos. It's taking, believe it or not, it takes more time to edit all this and upload it to YouTube than actually doing this. So this is more fun for me. So I make a lot of video, but I haven't had the opportunity to upload them. Anyway, this is great. I'm happy. To be honest with you, I didn't know that could be fixed. You remember it was just totally messed up. Remember, everything is off, so I'm not going to get shaken. Remember, I hooked this up to, the equipment that is being protected. If by mistake, if I touch something, I'm not going to kill me, right? So those are very important, please, very important to have those equipments, that I mentioned in the list earlier, that you have to have those things, those are, you must have those. Do not please try to do this without a proper equipment. It's very dangerous. All right, they're all hand carved. Again, we're doing this for fun, right? And this was the worst radio that I purchased. So if the worst one can be fixed, the other one should not be as much issue, right? That's what we're hoping always. I'm learning from everything. Now I learn everything. To learn through this project, I'm going to do this as a hobby. Learn this through this project, how to every part works together. I restored radios for a long time, but majority of them was replacing parts, capacitors, resistors. But not this radio. It forced me to learn schematic, because you remember that all the wires were messed up underneath, and whoever worked on this the last time, they add some part and they add some resistors, some capacitors, that it shouldn't even be there. And thankfully somebody in the antique radio forum, I put a picture of this radio up there, and they told me what schematic I need to look at. As you know, I couldn't find a schematic for this radio, but the newer version, of 1940s version, was pretty close to. So I had to track every wire underneath. It was, corroded. Even the part was just falling apart. Even resistor, as soon as I touched it, because the wires was corroded, even the resistor read very well, but it broke off, so I had to change everything on this. So I learned about that. Now we learn how to not fix really, rebuild the speaker. I'm learning how to rebuild accelerator coil. I learn how to fix RF, IF, CAN, that was bad. Also, this variable condenser was in very bad condition. Some of the part even is missing. Be able to repair that, and a bunch of other things, So anyway, so I already put a couple of holes here. I know where the holes are. Can be lined up right there. Or what? One here, one there. See, I'm going to glue it here, just for look. This goes here, right? All right. By the time this finishes, it's not going to be like brand new. Now I need to work on this. So this goes right, too thick. Do not put your finger through the cone. It happened before, I'm telling you. When you work in this type of thing, things happen. You have to protect that area, the dust doesn't get to it. The only thing I need to do is glue it. I don't want to get glue anywhere close to speaker coil. Okay, something like that. Take the extra glue off. Just be tacky, that's all it needs to be. Alright, since I cannot put this in the angle, it's going to mess up the cone, speaker cone. I'm going to install it right here. What I'm doing, I got, look at around the house. I had a piece of metal like that. I cut a portion off here. So I marked it. So I'm using, of course, this special scissors to cut the metal. This is I'm using for my restoring my cars. So this part is helping. Okay. I'm gonna take the extra off. Both sides need to be cut. Okay. Remember, it's pretty sharp. You don't want to cut yourself. I see it hide right there. Then this can go here. It's going to work perfect. And of course, you just go take the sharpness off like that. Okay, everything is not sharp anymore. You have to be very careful with all this, because when you cut the metal with this type of scissor, it's like a blade. It's so sharp everywhere. So this is done. Let me protect this speaker. I don't want to put my finger in it and mess it up after all this work. You see, that's how you protect it. I get a couple of twists there. Okay, I'm protecting the cone because I don't want anything happen to it after all this work. That's why I keep the lead for the stuff, for this type of reason. As you see, this one was, all my speakers are protected. Because it's hard to find a speaker like this, and you don't want to really damage it. Okay, see? No, can't touch it, they can do whatever without getting damaged. Okay, we know the speaker goes in the top. So, do I need to add before installing it? See, some of these wires are so short. First, if I install it here, see, it's going to be short. So I'm going to add wire to it now. It's out much easier. This side, is fine. It's long enough. The other side is short. I'm going to add a little wire to this. This is for the secondary of transformer. These are primary. So let me add that to this before installing it. Because if I install it, and then it's going to be hard to get to it. Let's do it correctly. This side was fine, we leave it alone. See the wires that we have here? Just need to take one or two string out. Don't want to make it too thick. I twist them together like that. I get the wire same thickness, like a resistor wire. I should loop like that. Take it out of this, insert it in here. Okay, I'm going to solder that. That's going to make a great connection. Okay. This is never going to come off. See what I did, right? Perfect. I can solder everything back together and install it on the radio. Okay, there's two wires being soldered back here. Now I'm going to install the speaker, then hook up the other two wires. I also installed the faceplate. Okay, let's see how this is going to hook up here. let's see if this screw is long enough. Yeah, make something like this. Also put between two wires. Then I can solder it. Okay, what I did here, I tried to wrap the wires around the speakers so all the wires stay away from the tubes, because the tubes, they get very hot and I don't want to cause any type of fire issue. So put that shrink uh, over the wires, so everything's safe. Now we're going to try to see, after installing the speaker, still, is operating correctly. So let's check it out. And we're going to hear it together, This is awesome, man. This is awesome. I'll turn it down. And that is unbelievable. The sound is just incredible. Incredible. Let me turn it up again just a little bit for you all here. That is awesome. I'm so glad it's working. Turn it off. I really appreciate for you all taking your time watching all this video. And again, there's a bunch of things need to be done with this radio. And so stay tuned. One by one is going to be done. Again, the faceplate needs repaired. This volume control and also tuner knob as belong to my other radio. I need to repair those as well. And of course the cabinet was a big mess, as you remember. That need to be also fixed too. I want to take the opportunity and thank you for taking your valuable time watching these videos. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel and you will be notified when new video being uploaded. You have a great day.